Good evening to all of you. So there is no sound. We should charge. Any knowledge can be gathered only when we are in a momentous position, when you are awakened position, and when we are keeping our eyes and ears open, then the knowledge comes from all sources. Just like अभी आपका मूड नहीं है तो नॉलेज आप सुना तो भी वो नॉलेज नहीं होगा, इसलिए आप सबका अटेंशन बहुत जरूरी है. दूसरा हमारा पहले का स्पीकर्स है ना, पर्टिकुलरली हमारा रॉय साहब, सब बहुत आपको प्रेजेंटेशन किया है. सो वो इंडियन इकोनॉमी डूइंग एक्सेप्शनली वेल as compared to the global economy. So what it matters for the banking industry, that is our subject now. What are the opportunities for Indian banks in the India's Amrit Kal? So आपको सब मालूम है that I will use sometimes Hindi also, because Hindi is our official language also. No, not that I know Hindi much, but हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर का विजन है India should become developed economy by 2047, and like Atmanirbhar Bharat or earlier Startup India or the what you call Made in India, these are all leading to another is Vikasit Bharat. So what is this Vikasit Bharat means? What are those strength of Indian economy and Indian population or Indian futuristic scenario? So one is the youth power. So in our average age of Indian population is going forward for quite a long time, around 25 to 30 years. What China had some time back, even though we are lagging behind, but we are reaching that place where we will be growing, whereas China will be consolidating. But there is still a difference between them. So in this next 25 years, we should be able to reach one area, population growth, we have crossed them. Now that population, if that demographic dividend, if it is not made full use of, and if they are not put in productive use in terms of employment or providing more contribution to the GDP, that population per se will not be useful to us. So in the particularly the younger and middle age group, they have to be fully engaged. So one area is women participation. Currently globally that is almost 50-50, whereas we are maybe around 28% women participation, including those who are in agriculture, allied activities, or under the Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Scheme. इसलिए हमारा साहब भी कभी और everywhere we talk about greater participation of women, right from the education, providing everybody what you call primary, higher or secondary and education, then they will become productively engaged. So one scheme for the banking there is self-help group. So the आपने budget में भी देखा है that certain self-help group under the last they have become crorepati in terms of that. Same number will have to be expanded. So that is another opportunity for one is banks will have an opportunity in the youth to provide them engaging in productive self-employment or in starting micro and small enterprises or providing startup funding, any industry that is in the youth generation. Second, women ko, and I have seen in my more than 99% recovery in the self-help group. Particularly these self-help group are all women groups, and even after second what you call top-up lending or particularly under the what you call allied sectors like dairy farming और like आपने वो गुजरात में है ना वो पप्पड़ सब बनाते हैं वो that famous so similar pattern wherever cooperatives are there and or under the what self-regulated group, group scheme, self-help group has come out very well. So that is another area where the bank will have more opportunities. So currently, even at the rate of 7.5%, if you grow our what you call this size of the Indian economy, which was likely to reach 5 trillion economy by 2025, due to the COVID, it got delayed maybe around two years. So 2026-27, currently around 3.5 trillion US dollar, we are already there. And we are likely to, once suddenly somebody said that we have reached 4 trillion, but that was not the correct news. But we are on the verge of reaching the 4 trillion. The 4 trillion will become 5 trillion and 5 trillion, 10 trillion, and it is some suggestion that by 2047 India can achieve 25 trillion to 30 trillion US dollar economy. Currently India's banking sector credit to private sector is around 58%. Globally, some of them have been given 168, 185% to the private sector. So the private sector, in the sense it is overall our credit other than the government. So the opportunity for lending or connecting all of them into a productive creating asset, which in total contribute to the GDP, that has to be multiplied. Until now, the government, what they did, they spent more and more money, even at the cost of GDP or your fiscal deficit going on the capex. So abhi hamara 10 lakh crore earlier year, and this year 11.5 lakhs crore. That comes to around 3.4 or 5% of the GDP. And private sector ke liye they have, means private nahi, state government ke liye bhi they gave 1 lakh crore and now 1.32 lakh crore. So that giving has created a multiplier impact. What is that multiplier impact? If hamara national highway, the kilometer coverage which they have done, and the roads or the port or the airport, all this infrastructure gives opportunity for the private sector to participate. And once the private sector participates, there will be greater investment by them. So that gives only unka wahi point hai, the fiscal deficit is more government borrowing, then the scope for private borrowing becomes lesser. Iske liye this year, as a prudent management, he said that prudent fiscal management, India wherever required, aisa money ko throw nahi kiya unnecessary. In the recent days, we saw what are the priorities of spending and what will ultimately lead to long term and medium term growth patterns. So with the result, that type of management this year or next year, they are going to borrow less than the last year. And if they borrow less, people like all of you will have more opportunity to tap the bank. Only bank ke liye abhi, so that is another opportunity with the continued focus on physical infrastructure and social infrastructure. What are those social infrastructure? Health, education, so all our public utility services, whichever our urbanization, improvement in the urbanization, or no, or panchayat area mein or taluk level mein, or udhar bhi improving the drainage, all these systems, these are all the social responsibility of the government, by which they do the social infrastructure. So public and what you call the physical and social infrastructure, there is a chance for the banks to participate. Like as municipal corporation, if they are raising bonds and if they are improved, that the last 5-6 years government, if they do the reforms of improving the municipality or your local level government or the corporation, then they get major additional funding. And if they improve and if they bring the bond, like quite a lot of municipalities or corporation brought the bond, and the banks or any one of you also, आपको medium term में उसमें invest किया तो it is supported by the state government and the revenue, it is a good way of earning return. आज के दिन में some of you would have also gone into the government sector, what you call government bonds or state government bonds, or the public sector IRFC or PFC, REC, all of their bond also. That Jaydeep ka idea hai, private wealth management also is one of the important work for the bank also. Bank will become partner in your progress. If the banks have to become partner, I have to advise you good investment plans. And I have to also see you not only save, you multiply your saving. So how that can be done? I can generate you to a particular activity by which you will be able to generate more profit. So in the bank's role in the driver of economic value, that is very much there. And when the economy is growing on an average, आज के दिन में पहले है ना 8, 8.5, even now 9.5, Indian economy has grown. And our KV कामत आपको सुना होगा, in the next 15-20 साल में potential of Indian economy is to grow 10%. If you are bullish, all of you know market में वो bullish, bearish, तो अभी bullishness is growing at the rate of 10%. Even अभी he would have been known. Just आज देखा है, corporates are making profit in tons. They have managed their what you call, except raw material price also come down, and corporates have enhanced their profit substantially. During COVID, no, 2 साल में 10 lakh crore they borrowed from the market. Reserve Bank released 12 lakh crores in the market and corporates borrowed. What they did, that money they paid back to the bank and reduced their leverage. So एक side में corporate balance sheet has become great strength. So आज जो बैंक को land corporate को वही है, those with the governance, good management, financial management, good market share and good product development और international standing, उन सबको lend करने में बैंक को अभी कोई तकलीफ नहीं है. पहले ऐसा था. दूसरा ये IBC insolvency, bankruptcy, और दूसरा सरफेसी, और ये most of the company going for liquidation, that deter the management from misutilizing the banking fund and diverting to either here or abroad, personal, all that. A few company has spoiled that lending scenery at that time, but that have been now fully corrected. तो अभी इसलिए the bank balance sheet is also greater strength. बैंक का अभी average NPA कितना है? 3.5%. Average net NPA less than 0.8. बैंक का capital adequacy is more than 16.8. Even RBI का financial stability report, all of you should read that. उन्होंने उसको ये base situation में आगे भी कोई तकलीफ आए तो भी हमारा capital adequacy 13.4 तक रहेगा. So that means banks have strengthened their capital and they are poised to good lending. Our bank corporate को भी क्या हो गया, बीच while interest rates have gone by 250 basis points. So with the result, corporate who are earlier depending on the bond market, they have also shifted to the bank lending. So अभी एक ही problem आ गया. What is the latest what is the rate at which bank credit is growing? 17%. But earlier no bank has lent even at the growth of 35%. But this 16-17% growth, whereas deposits are not catching up with the deposit your credit growth. So one area bank opportunity is to tap the resources available on a cost-effective way and increase the resource base of the bank. So in our अमृतकाल that currently हमारा 3,000 से भी कम है हमारा per capita income dollar. If you have to become developed country, your per capita income should become $14,000 per head. But globally, even USA and all much higher. And even our neighbor, no, like Bangladesh also, because recent days Bangladesh improved through export boost. and their per capita income is also more. So एक side में आपका population increase करते वक्त there is a responsibility that everybody lives in a happy way and in a better standard of life, for which their per capita income should go up. And if the per capita income goes up, banks resource also will increase, deposits will increase. Only एक point आया, during COVID क्या किया है, most of the people who are not used to capital market, because एक बार 25,000 में डाउन हो गया था, दूसरा बाद में मार्केट, I am not a market person, he can say, market came back, very big recovery. Whereas Reserve Bank ने interest rate को वो टाइम में पहले, with the result, deposits are pushed to look at alternative funds, investment. And that same time, during those period, around I think 9 crores, अभी 9 lakh crores, 9 lakh crores of demat account opened, and lot of people through mutual fund and individually would have gone to the capital market. And the capital market, particularly this equity booming, and अभी वो टाइम का इंडेक्स क्या है, अभी का इंडेक्स क्या है, whether आप बताइए.
14 crore now.
Now it is total, I am telling that is incrementally, now cumulatively 14 lakh crores of demat account, and your NSE index 21,000, which would have come down like that time 7,500 or whatever. So what, maybe last year, this year they have got the good return, most of them, and even the mid segment and all. So what has happened, with the mutual funds giving them average return, which is much higher than the banking return, the deposit started moving to, एक बार आपको वो लग गया, आपने बैंक को ऑटोमेटिकली इंटरमीडिएटली आपको फंड्स मिलता है, but we have on a sustained basis we have to get the deposit advance, it means resources. If I have to lend medium and long term, infrastructure के लिए average duration है 15-18 साल रिटर्न आने के लिए. Infrastructure, if I lend through the toll collection, I have to get the money, the concession period is 25 years, 30 years. So I have to have a 15-18 years money. Whereas here the average duration of the bank money is deposited not more than 1.5-2 years. So if you have to lend on ALM mismatch, we have to have core component of savings and current. And अभी recently आपने सुना होगा, current deposit also became a little volatile. This was, I was talking savings and current account, because government also started utilizing the money very just in time. Just in time बोला तो कोई corporate हो, कोई भी हो, they need money of the state government का release of fund. इधर है ना महाराष्ट्र state industrial development, महाराष्ट्र state road transport. So state government will release the money to them, MADA, only when they really need that money, and they have to show the purpose of money when they will spend that. So when spending only it will come. Earlier ऐसा नहीं, पैसा रिलीज किया, ये पैसा बैंक का पास करंट अकाउंट में और टर्म डिपॉजिट में रहता था. तो with the result, the share of current account has come to 10%. So now State Bank chairman recently paper में देखा, they have started looking at alternative ways to get current deposit. Because why we need current deposit बताइए? Current deposit में कोई interest नहीं देते हम. So it is a very low cost fund or nil cost fund. Savings में average may be 3%. Some of them who are giving 7, all that you have to take that pinch of salt because it's risky. Those who are giving like maximum 3.5 or even less than 3 हमारा savings में, but that is the core component of our long medium term funds. So that's why I can do the ALM. So one area in this period is bank should focus on resource mobilization, and we must tap. And as I mentioned that our overall opportunities. One more area is either sustainability, sustainable finance, moving towards. So what is this sustainability? That alternative energy. India has, our Prime Minister has committed that India will become net zero emissions by 2070. And by short term 2045, 50-55% or 40-45-50% we will utilize alternative energy. What are those alternative energy? Wind, solar, hydrogen or biomass. So other than fossil fuel. Fossil fuels means your coal and oil. आपका मालूम है ऑयल में इंडिया इज द मेजर इंपोर्टर. Our hard-earned foreign exchange money is going to the producing country, and their whims and fancy, they they control the price. And one area there, when sometime back in the oil per barrel price went to 165, and that was the one pain point for 2014 earlier government. Whereas here it also went up to 92, average 85, here also more than nearly 100 some time back. So that affects the entire economy. One is that pump. Second is from the climate change. अभी ये climate change से आपका food security will become very difficult task. आपको मालूम है इंडिया नहीं, whole world में 1,20,000 years का warmest year last year. Our highest warming and low cooling period में sometimes world over cool is very less. Cool period में cool ज़्यादा रहने का है. So ice country and Antarctica and all, they are now getting into the ice melting. तो उधर से इतना आया तो किधर होगा आपका sea will occupy more and more land and your land availability will become less. दूसरा, because that change is happening, your cloud bursting, deficit rainfall, heavy rainfall, so that is again affecting lot of lives, lot of economic losses. And over and above that, these green emissions, which are these emissions, they are all sitting on the top of the everywhere, and that don't allow us to get enough rainfall. So food, our wheat production got affected due to the warmth, and India released all the wheat during the COVID as a food security for the people. And even now we are going to give another 80 crores people for next 5 years also. Under that 2 lakh crores of money we are spending on a yearly on the food security. इसके लिए हमारे पास बम्पर फूड स्टॉक रहना बनता है. तो फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया में पहले ऐसे वीट रहता था और खराब होता था. आज के दिन में जस्ट इन इन्वेंट्री ओनली, ज़्यादा नहीं उधर. तो ये सब क्लाइमेट चेंज इज ऑल्सो अफेक्टिंग द एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन. हमारा इनको मालूम होगा एग्रीकल्चर इज टू गिव ए ग्रोथ ऑफ 4.5-5%. दिस ईयर इट हैज गिवन हार्डली 1.5%. If you don't get the agriculture growth, that is the only stable growth for India. So that is where, why I am talking about this, banks will be lending towards the alternative energy sources, and that is a big investment opportunity, rising sector. And आपने आज देखा होगा हाइड्रोजन प्रोजेक्ट में कॉपर, of course copper is not that, hydrogen, all that, 60,000 crores Adani Group is raising money for a big project of that, and the banks are all giving the lending. So this such of the new sectors will be the opportunity for the banking industry in this Amrit Kal. So on that account, Reserve Bank has allowed the banks to raise green deposit. So आप सब and हम भी, all of us are responsible individuals. So we have to protect our environment. ये mind में everybody should have that sensible responsibility, even at my own home, or preservation of means not wasting water, clean water. Everybody should drinking water, not wasting food. फूड हाई करके बना के बहुत खाते हैं, बाद में एवरी डे कितना फूड वेस्ट होता है मालूम है वर्ल्ड ओवर. और वन मोर थिंग आई शुड नॉट, दैट वेज एंड नॉन वेज फूड, नॉन वेज फूड में बनाने में बहुत सारा वाटर यूज होता है, क्लीनिंग ऑल दैट. नॉट दैट, दैट्स व्हाई पीपल आर नाउ स्लाइटली गोइंग टवर्ड्स vegetarian. So in or taking care of the flora, all the pet animals or other animals or all that, or even birds. सुबह आपको सामने birds used to come. आज के दिन में birds ही नहीं देखेंगे. Birds का some of them are all getting gone. So which are each one, every individual or every such people have been given a task which cumulatively keeps the eco balance in the our whatever our system. This eco balance करने के लिए, so in that respect the banks will also take deposit from you under the green deposit, where I may give you some lesser return also. What I mean to say, responsibility will come even at the lesser rate. You should be able to take green deposit. So in such energy areas and other what you call alternative energy, banks have a got. So banks are in a much better position. Another is digital world. Abhi public what you call digital infrastructure, which has created such a change. But इसके लिए एक है that we must be totally compliant with the regulated entity regulation. अभी आपको मालूम होगा ना क्या हो गया एक, when you are growing you have to be mindful of regulation, good governance and transparent policy and social responsibility. इसके लिए environment, social and governance, ESG, that becomes relevant for the bank. So anyhow, time is over. Wish you all the best. Thank you.